For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Sorry for the few-day delay. I've been traveling the last few days, but hopefully you guys will forgive me. We have a full week of podcasts. But today, we have a very special guest, return guest. We get very few of them, but I'm glad to have these guys back. We have Dali Van Gogh. How's it going today, guys?
Hello.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm actually kind of happy because I remember the last time we had you on, for whatever reason, my mic setup wasn't working, so I had to just unplug everything and go raw, and now it's like, yes, now I'll have like clean sounding audio. I felt really bad about that last time.
Oh, it's so good.
But
yeah, but no, we're super excited to be back.
Yeah. So how things been going? I know we were talking a little bit beforehand. You guys are back in lockdown up in Halifax?
Yes, unfortunately, for about 3 weeks now, our case numbers kind of spiked. Luckily, it was right after our single release show. So we managed to come out of lockdown, get geared up to do a show, do one show, and then everything shut down again. So for all you guys out there who managed to come to that show, congratulations, you get the only one for the spring. Yeah. But it's tough up here. Things are not good. Our medical system's kind of overrun.
Yep.
We're at the point where if it's illegal to sell anything that's not an essential good. So like if it's not groceries, gasoline, or I don't know, home repair stuff, pet food. Yeah. Other than that, if you get caught selling that stuff, like you're getting fined.
Really?
So it's very extreme.
But it's needed.
Well, yeah, because people, especially the issue right now is that this has been a long. I mean, I've never had a pandemic in my lifetime, so I don't know why I'm comparing it to anything. But it's been a long pandemic, right? Yeah. Especially for musicians, and so people are tired and weren't taking it. I think we're treating it very seriously, and this is the wake-up call.
Yeah, I mean, not to get too political on here, at least you guys didn't have an oil refinery get hacked, and now all our gas prices are going to skyrocket.
I heard a little bit about that. That's crazy, eh?
Yeah, I saw it. I heard about it last night. I think I was online, and I was just like, great. Gas prices are going to skyrocket as soon as I have to drive back home, and that's going to be a fun trip.
Yeah, so. Lovely.
Yeah,
but so we're back in lockdown, but we're trying to keep busy as much as we can. At exactly this point, the whole band can't get together because two of the band members are like outside of our community. Yeah. Bubble. So they're living. I mean, they're on like the outskirts of Halifax, but they're far enough away. Like there's checkpoints and everything right now that it's just not worth the hassle of trying to
get them in
here to record. Now the good news is Rochelle and I are roommates. Yeah. And our singer, the other singer, John Scotto, lives like 100 feet that way. Okay. Behind us. So
are you guys
three of us are still.
Are you allowed to move like freely within your community, or?
Well, freely is maybe a
relative to. Okay.
He can come over here. Okay. Almost specifically because it's like a work bubble, right? Like you're all doing this as a part-time actual job. So,
but what it is in general, because our household just has us two in it. Yeah. There is a rule, like you're allowed to have like a household bubble or something. But they even said like if your home only has like two people living in it, you're allowed to include like one or two other people in your bubble. Okay. So he's the one that we decided he'll be in our bubble, we're in his bubble, and then that's it. We're not seeing anybody else.
Nice.
So that's nice. So at least the three of us are still getting together. We're actually going to be starting. We've got a bunch of new stuff on the go that has kind of been coming together through the pandemic. We may have even talked about some of it last time, but we've got a gaming channel on YouTube now that's up and running.
Did you guys start that?
Last night.
You guys
we started that.
Okay. I
we just
vaguely remember something about being brought up about it, but I never checked up on it.
Yeah, no, it just finally got like off the ground. There was a live stream on Twitch last night. We got some videos up on our YouTube channel, which if you're looking for, it's Dali Van Gaming. It's supposed to be Dali Van Go. And it's cool because we're all like gamers. Even Rochelle's getting into like Switch games and stuff.
Well, yeah, I have a Nintendo Switch and I really got into Mario Odyssey. I happened to get that just as the lockdown was starting to happen again. So it was a good time. That was pretty fun. I mean, so I'm starting to step into it more because there's nothing else to do. So I'm really starting to appreciate gaming.
Yeah, we're all stuck in our homes, right? Mm-hmm. So anything that's like escapism is good. And there's only so much time you can sit there playing your guitar, or so much time you can, like, I don't know, sweep the floor. Like,
and we don't drink.
And we don't drink. So it's just like we're just kind of pulling our hair out. So the gaming channel is up and running, but also John's coming over here twice a week, and starting this Thursday, so the timing is great. We are starting like an acoustic series with us. Well, there's only one song going up this Thursday, and we're starting to record for the following weeks coming up. But we're just going to do like, it's going to be some of our music, some covers. We're taking requests every week and trying to just keep busy and perform however we can. So yeah, look for that. It'll be up. It goes live Thursday around 3 p.m. But it's going to be up on all of our channels and things. Facebook.com/DaliVanGo, YouTube.com/DaliVanGo, etc. So,
have you thought about doing something like that mixed with the gaming channel?
Well, it is all kind of mixed together.
Okay.
Right? The gaming channel's under the Dali Van Go banner. I'm working on. It's funny because I had this conversation with the band the other day. YouTube has evolved so much in the time that I've been on YouTube. It's crazy. But there's now you have like YouTube channels, you have music channels, and then you can have like a branded conglomerate thing. So I'm working on putting together the branded kind of umbrella presence online. Yeah. But right now, like, even if you go to like Dali Van Go's main YouTube page, like right at the top, you can click on gaming channel. It takes you right to the gaming stuff, right? Yeah. So it's all kind of in the same ballpark.
Yeah. Well, no. What I was getting at was, have you thought about taking some of your acoustic music and maybe playing while you're doing the gaming, while you're live streaming the gaming?
We're certainly going to do some of that stuff. Yeah.
We should. Yeah. Once we're able to get together with everyone.
Well, even without everyone. I mean, I know the plan is, again, this is all just getting started, but the plan is to have our music, whenever anyone's streaming, our music's going to be playing in the background. And then we're getting a Discord server set up so that, a couple people can be gaming, and then the others of us can literally be doing exactly what you were saying.
Yeah.
Playing some songs, talking to viewers and stuff. Because it's a nice way. We're lucky that this is happening in a time in the world where we're this intimately connected to everybody via the internet. Because if this had happened 20 years ago, like, I don't know what people would have done. Off their minds, I guess.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Or sorry, maybe 30 years ago.
I was going to say 20 years ago. I would,
30 years ago, there.
20 years ago. I mean, even 2021.
Even 20 years ago,
I was playing RuneScape.
Even 20 years ago, what would we have been doing? Playing on Zynga or something? Like what are some of those
like
old?
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There was no gaming streaming or anything, but the point is, we've got this fan base that's all over the world. So this whole last year has kind of been a great opportunity for us to focus on them, as opposed to the people in Canada and closer by that we've been able to go and tour and go see.
Yeah.
So the idea of being able to try and stay connected and stay present on all of our social medias and stuff is very, very much on our minds.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's the best way to take advantage of everything. Like even just doing random live streams where you just talk to people, like
100%.
Yeah. Like it's just like I've been saying this for a really long time. The pandemic doesn't have to be 100% negative experience. You could use this time to grow your passion or grow your hobby? Or
and we've really thought about it that way. So in this time we've had, since the last time we talked to you, we had 3 songs come out with music videos and stuff. And I mean, not that we didn't pay attention to videos and things like that prior to the pandemic, but during the pandemic it's basically been all that we've had, right? So we've put this humongous amount of attention on our social media presence, and it's blown up. I mean, Lance joined the band, our bass player, just before the pandemic happened, and we had like 3,000 likes on Facebook, right? So we're a year later, and we're over 10,000 now.
Oh yeah,
literally just because we just spent all of our time on the internet, right? And our YouTube channel has grown. We have a TikTok now,
which is also very new. We're this lockdown, we're kind of experimenting with different ways rather than like we got our gaming channel going. We're trying TikTok.
Have you guys started a chat room, or what is that new app called? Chat room, right?
I've never heard of it.
Or Clubhouse, my bad.
I mean, the Discord server will have like a chat thing. Pardon?
Clubhouse, that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, is that Facebook's new thing?
No. Clubhouse is literally this.
Oh, I think we may have lost you.
No. Did you lose me? I still have you.
Oh, you're back now.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead. So Clubhouse?
Yeah. Clubhouse is basically this, but no video. So
your audio.
Yeah, but so basically what it is you open up imagine a chat room with just audio.
Well, that's sick, because the weakest part about my streaming thing is that I don't have great cameras. Like, I'm using my phone right now.
Yeah.
But I've got a $250,000 recording rig right here.
Yeah. So basically what Clubhouse does is you can say, okay, tonight we're going to talk about making music during the pandemic, and you can just create a chat room or a Clubhouse room, make that your subject title. And then, because right now everything, like, the app is still small, like just like
cut out again.
Oh, did it? Hello?
It did a little bit.
Okay.
But so I think what you're describing, so it's almost like impromptu podcasts, but everybody's a guest.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it is. But no, Clubhouse is definitely something that you should check out. It's really cool.
Very cool. I got the website up right now in front of me. We will absolutely do that. Thank you for the heads up.
Yeah, absolutely. So before the internet craps out completely, hopefully it doesn't, let's talk about the new single you guys got coming out. We were originally supposed to have this podcast about a month or so ago when this song originally released. But you got a new single out called Past Crimes. What's kind of the story behind it?
Yep. Yeah, well, it's, all of our songs right now have been tying into this book that we were talking about last time we were on with you, called The Testimony, that we're kind of writing and releasing in bits and pieces on our website. For those out there who want to check it out, DaliVanGoghmusic.com. And this is just another one of the songs that kind of ties into the story there. Specifically, Past Crimes is, the music video at least, is about, kind of two lovers at the beginning of the pandemic. And the unique pressures that are put on relationships right now. Because I got to think there's a lot of people out there who, went from maybe, having a casual relationship to suddenly they're in lockdown with the person and they're spending every day together. And it's well, and that can be good or that can be bad. Right. And so the story here is, kind of how that, these unique circumstances can cause that relationship to break down. The song itself was written as kind of a, semi-true story about a relationship that broke down in my personal life. And then, Rochelle and John, it wasn't going to be a duet originally. But once the idea of it being a duet came together, the song, again, as most of our better stuff does, kind of wrote itself. And then Rochelle and John kind of took it over from there and turned it into the monster it is now.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's a really cool, it's a really awesome song. Like I've always had a chance to listen to it a little bit today, and all through the past month or so, I've had it comes up periodically on the Live and Amplified playlist. And I really enjoy it every time it does come on. So,
yeah, thanks, man. I mean, it's like a groove machine thing.
It's different than
that's very different than anything we've put out before.
We took a risk putting it out, I think, but we really like it.
Yeah.
I love playing
it. It goes over so well live. I mean, and it's done well on online as well. It's got, we're at almost 150,000 views on Facebook. So it's, it's done well for us. It's unfortunate that we're in circumstances right now where we can't do another follow-up, because what we've been doing is releasing a song almost every month.
Yeah.
So prior to Past Crimes, we put out, was it Stand Up?
Yeah, re-release.
So we re-recorded a song from our, kind of our first record, called Stand Up, Wake Up, that was just very pertinent to the times right now. It's like a protest song. Mm-hmm. Put that out. And then before that, we did a re-release of Heavy Living. So kind of in between these new songs, because we've got this giant fan base that we didn't have before, who may not be familiar with material that we put out 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So
we got new members now, too.
And we got new band members, so it's a good opportunity for them to kind of put their spin, because they're doing it live anyways, put their spin on these songs. But also, again, to introduce these songs to a new audience. So in between the new releases are these kind of, re-recordings of some of our older stuff. And it's been doing, incredibly well for us. People are really gravitating towards it.
Awesome. So how long is this? Or first, let's talk about some of the, before we keep going on with Past Crimes. When you have, now that you're starting to like rework some of the, or re-release some of your older songs, are you completely rewrite or rearranging them? Or is it just kind of, this is what the original song is here?
No, they're getting re-recorded from scratch.
Okay.
But the arrangements are still the same. Like it's still
for the most part. Yeah, for the most part, the arrangements are the same. For the most part, the lyrics are the same. Although every song's had some changes to the lyrics. The biggest change is production quality's gone up.
Yeah.
And we're a better band than we were 5 years ago.
Gotcha.
Right. Not that I've got any issues with what we recorded then. Like, I'm very proud of it. But, the bands get better over time. And we're, especially this current group of people is just super, super, super tight. Not just playing wise, but like personally. And it's a different, it's very, you always talk about bands being like a family, but this one is like really like a family. Yeah. We talk to each other every single day, and
we spend New Year's
Eve together, and so because of that, the songs are kind of taking on new life and new energy, and it's really, the thing about music I've always said is that no matter what, your recording of a song is kind of just a snapshot of what the song is then. Yeah. Songs always continue to evolve over time, even if you're not meaning to. If a song like Heavy Living is my favorite example, because we have a spotlight on it. It's DaliVanGoghMusic.com/Heavy Living 10. And it's 10 years of this song Heavy Living that's been around, since 2000. Well, it's more than that now, but there's 10 years worth of recordings on there. The song, I wrote it in like 2009 on a MIDI track. Wow. And then it's evolved. You can hear the evolution of the song over a decade. Yeah. Up there. And, so I coming back to the same material sometimes is, I don't know, cathartic. It's an opportunity to update it with this song now. Yeah. Right.
It's almost,
I know, like maybe we might play, like it might be simple as we might play it a little faster, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's almost like the song is maturing a little bit with you guys as you guys mature.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And exactly. And our, our inclinations as songwriters have improved as well. So for example, like Stand Up, Wake Up originally had this whole like 60-second intro, which is great. I friggin' love it. But the fact of the matter is, today in the TikTok world where you got like 15 seconds to get somebody's attention, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right? It works great for our ongoing fans who've heard our material and are already kind of like, yep, sign me up. I like new Dali Van Gogh stuff. But if you're trying to attract a new audience, which, you know, for a band like us where, you know, as popular as we may seem, we're very much still on the up and up.
Yeah.
We changed some of the gang vocals into more harmonies.
Yep, that too.
Because I'm a sucker for harmonies and a stickler for harmonies. So I was like, let's do this way now, and that's something that we changed on it. So.
Yep, and there's a big metal screen from Lance at one point.
Yeah, because we're lucky that we do have all these components. We have different people who can sing. It's not just, you know, a lead singer and then people trying to scream the rest in the background. It's people who can genuinely sing, hit the notes, do harmonies.
Yep.
So if we can do them, let's try to put them wherever.
And not that we didn't do harmonies before, but again, like you said, we've matured as a band, and so we're far more. You know, able to things that had harmonies on them before live would basically just become gang vocals, right? And we'd all just kind of be belting it out, and it would be what it is. Now everything's very, very meticulously thought out, and a lot of that's really thanks to Rochelle, because she comes from like a theater background and stuff too. And you know, it's
sitting at the piano, I'm plunking out the chords, telling the guys, "This is your part. This is your part. Sing with me. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's do it. Exactly. And we do it, you know, with the guys coming in when, you know, we're allowed to jam. With the guys coming in out of town, one of our band members gets here about a half hour after everybody else. So for that first half hour, we've just dedicated it to it. Hey, this is vocal time. We're literally going to sit here and work on harmonies. And we just go through each day. We work on a different song. And it's, you know, it's a little thing that really ups the quality of our work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You get more of the time to, like, just because of certain circumstances, you have more time to focus on things you would normally kind of brush over. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. And that goes for everything that's going on in the last year, is that because of the pandemic, we've had time to put into very different things, because usually the vast majority of our time is on show prep and performing, right, and touring, and now it's like, you know, we gear up for a gig, literally what happened here. We came out of lockdown long enough to get the band's chops back together to do one show, and then 3 days later they started shutting everything down again. So, and you know, some of that is that people don't realize, especially the general public, I think, how much time and effort goes into putting on a show like what we do.
We practice twice a week. For a show. We only do a show every few months. But
right now.
But yeah, and not the whole time is spent gearing up for the show. We're doing a lot of other things, working on stuff, trying things out, songwriting, that kind of thing. But when it comes to doing a show, I mean, we want to put on the best show we can. So we definitely focus, when it gets near to a show time, we focus our time on that.
Purely on the set. And it's, you know, what we do is not, like, we're not able to just show up and wing it. You know, I don't know if that's maybe we're not good enough musicians or what, but the fact of the matter is, there is a noticeable difference between Dali Van Gogh and Dali Van Gogh when they're in practice. Right. And when we have our shit together. On top of that, you know, everything about our show has taken a big leap forward. We've got planned out light shows now. Zach Lacey, big shout out to Zach. He's probably tuning in on this. He usually does.
Hey, Zach.
Has been, you know, he's transitioned from, he was always like our sound guy. But now he's mixing jam every single night.
Oh wow!
Right?
He's an honorary member of the band.
Well, he's basically a member of the band.
We used to say like there's 5 of us. Now we say there's 6 of us.
Yeah, just Zach's not on stage. But so because of that, Zach's like, you know, a guru with all of our material. We don't have to think for a second about whether our sound is going to be good. And it's even more importantly, it's consistent. No matter where we go or what venue we're playing, we sound great. And so that's a huge kudos to Zach on that, because and he's brought lots of other little things, like we're all on inner ears now.
Yeah.
So our monitor mixes are the same. And most of our gear, I was a sucker for big, huge, giant amps and stuff like that. I'm running everything direct now.
Yeah.
I got this little friggin' box that my amp runs into, and that thing goes into the board. It sounds amazing.
Nice.
I switched from keyboard.
Well, that's a big thing to talk about too. Yeah. So Rochelle's playing guitar now.
Oh, wow.
Which is badass.
Yeah.
Now I don't feel trapped behind a keyboard, so I can actually move around, which is nice. I'm also a clumsy person, so I have to be careful that I'm not tripping.
I think you need to worry about it less.
So
we're always smashing into each other. It's fine.
Oh, I'm just talking about myself when no one's around. Falling over.
So does the guitar give you the same quality as the keyboard?
In some ways, more.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, some of the tonal characteristics, and it might just literally be this guitar, because we didn't cheap out on it. I
mean, I can't sit there and play sonatas, unfortunately. No. A lot of it is one-handed, but it's really cool to try something different. There's so many different sounds. I don't know. It's just great. Yeah, it's just so fun.
What I've run into it for sure, at least on the recording aspect, but live, is that I think had I known that the stuff we're doing with the guitar now you could do, I would have had a guitar from the get-go instead of just a keyboard. Because there's so much more, I don't know, toys, like there's the whammy bars and all this kind of stuff. It's so much more musical, which is a strange thing to say. Yeah. And so it's given Rochelle this like oodles of freedom. First off, now she's up front of the stage with John, which is great. Yeah. She can move around and jam out with me and Lance. And she's got this musical freedom.
And you have a lot more room when you get out to tour.
Yes.
That too. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I guess not a lot more room, but more room specifically.
No, there's definitely, it's a lot more room. Like that. We were hauling around an 88 key keyboard. Okay. Let's be real here. And that thing takes up space.
But then right now what I'm doing is I have another, and that one had a giant keyboard case for some reason. So for our last gig, I was able to take a smaller keyboard case, like only slightly smaller, put the guitar in it, but then also put my pedal board, all my other gear, my inner ears, my microphone, everything all fit into the one case. And then I just have to pick up one thing and go.
Yep. And nicer. We're basically all like that now.
Except for your drummer, I bet.
Well, there's the drummer. But I'm trying to convince him to go electric drums, but he'll just shoot me.
Oh God.
No, I don't think we'll ever see that. But even, you can take drums and you can stack them inside of each other. Yeah. You can't do that with a guitar amp. You can't do that with a keyboard. No. So other than the drums, literally we're all walking in with, I've got 2 guitars. That's probably the bulkiest thing that we have. Yeah. When we're going to a show. For the most part, we can walk in there with the guitar in a bag. That's it. Done. I'm walking in with a pedal bag and a guitar. That's it.
Nice.
The only other thing that really takes up space once we are able to get back on the road is going to be the PA. Yeah. And
that's actually really smart and underrated, traveling with your own PA system, because
we will without question be doing that. Yeah.
Because you never know what the venue is going to have. Now, like if it's like a big venue, you obviously want to use their setup, but when you get into some of these smaller spots, it's just
that's the thing. And the last 2, this was before. Unfortunately, this is the other thing too, is with this pandemic, we were all gearing up to go out on the road. Yeah. And so Rochelle, Johnny, and Lance have never actually toured properly with Dali Van Gogh. But so me and John, we ran into that a couple of times. We did 2 kind of Eastern Canada tours back in 2017 and 18, I want to say, something like that. And we did not haul our own PA. And more than once, I had to drive like several hours to get to a Long McQuaid to rent a PA, haul it back to the gig, because we get there and these bars, it's funny because there's a certain caliber of bar that like takes your rider really seriously. Yeah. And then anything below that, they don't even read it. Yeah. And so and that goes for some very good music venues as well, like very popular, well-trafficked spots. But I think at this point we will never travel without our own PA again.
Yeah.
On top of that, I don't think we'll ever go without our own sound guy for similar reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, these places are paying some guy minimum wage that has a basic sound degree. And
or even if they have that,
yeah,
maybe it's just a buddy of the bartender. But even more so is we're such a dynamic band that we're not a band that you can like set the levels and then walk away.
Yeah. Under
any circumstances. We have so much. First off, we have such a dense sound that if you don't have someone riding and moving around the faders, we just sound like probably like a fuzzy wall.
Yeah.
We have, I've got a guitar with harmonizers. We have a bass player who also runs harmonizers. We have a keytar player. We have 4 voices in the drum kit. And then sometimes there's backing stuff like tracks and things.
Yeah.
So it's you can't just leave it. And then on top of that, there's songs that Rochelle sings lead on. There's songs that John sings lead on. There's songs that Lance sings lead on. There's songs that I sing lead on. So it's all got to be managed.
Not even just songs, parts of songs.
Right, pieces of songs, yeah. And, in a perfect world, I don't write up a volume pedal for my guitar solo. So there's all these little things that Zach has managed to have us just be able to not worry about.
Yeah.
That it's made a world of difference. And again, because of that, we can focus more on just playing, right? I don't have to think about frigging around with my pedals. I don't have to think about, okay, this time I have to step back from the mic. Speaking of another recent update, I don't know if there's any gear junkies out there, but we've all switched over to S1 microphones. I'm going to bring it up here so I can get the exact name. You got one there? Oh, I got one right here.
Yeah.
So this microphone, SE V something. Okay. SE microphone. So this thing, for anyone out there who's looking, is the most amazing vocal mic I have ever used, to the point that Zach brought one for us to frig around with at Jam one night.
Yeah.
And then within a week, we had all bought them.
Nice.
We sold out the city in them, I think.
We literally, you couldn't get any more in the province, I think.
We bought the last one.
So yeah, it's made by SE. I don't know if you can see.
Yep.
They're SE. It's a vocal microphone that was designed around, or at least there's a signature model that's designed around Miles Kennedy and his voice. And the idea with it is it's got a very, very short dynamic fall off. So if I've got the mic right up to my lips, clear as day, I can belt my guts out and it won't distort. If I move it an inch away, you're getting almost nothing.
Really?
So the bleed is like non-existent. Yeah, it's. If you had told me that's how this, Zach did.
Yeah.
You told me that's how this thing worked, I wouldn't have believed you. And then we tried them, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is like the perfect mic for on stage. You cannot make it feedback. You maybe put it inside of a vocal cone.
That's funny.
Yeah, FD, good stuff. And if you guys are looking to endorse someone, we're freaking pumping your stuff around.
Nice.
But again, another thing that Zach kind of brought to the table that has really upped the quality of our stuff, because now there's no bleed from anything. And that's kind of been, as little as we've gigged, when we're gigging, we've decided, okay, let's make this as high quality as we can. And on top of that, we've recorded just about everything.
Yeah.
So literally I have up on my screen behind us right now, I don't know, maybe I can flip this thing around so the viewers can see. I am working on doing some mixing for our show that was on April 16th at Monty's Show Bar, that we also videoed the whole thing.
Oh, nice.
We'll be putting, at least parts of, if not the whole concert, up on YouTube in the coming weeks or months once I get through this mix.
And actually, that's actually another reason why you have your own sound guy and your own sound setup, because you can do cool stuff like that.
Exactly. So yeah, it's as little as we've been able to work through all of this, we've tried to take as much advantage of it as we can.
Absolutely. That's absolutely perfect. Obviously you guys haven't been playing shows. Is there any light at the end of the tunnel right now for shows, or is it
right this second? It feels pretty bleak.
Okay.
So we would have been talking about this last time we talked to you. We're supposed to open for Buck Cherry when they come up here.
That's what it was. Yes. Okay. I was telling.
Their show's now been rescheduled to October 25th, I think. October something. And all indications are that that's going to happen now, because they've already started playing in the States.
Mm-hmm.
That tour is actively ongoing now. Hard to predict what the pandemic's going to look like in 4 months or 5 months or whatever it is.
I mean, we do have vaccines rolling out, so that's a good thing.
Yep, and we're about 30% of the population's vaccinated. So there's I think that is probably the light at the end of the tunnel, because right now it's bleak. Now it's the questions aren't even if you're going to be able to gig. It's like, are the venues going to be able to open back up?
Yeah,
this is the third time we've shut down. Like it's
rough on.
It's a rough time for local businesses, us included. But even more than just in the average show business, specifically like hospitality and the arts and entertainment industries have been hit harder than anybody in all of this.
Yeah.
And it's funny because those industries are also the ones who have taken it the most serious, in at least in my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I go to a Best Buy that's friggin' packed full of people. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or when we did our show at Monty's, we were Nancy was fantastic. Nancy Nazarian, shout out to her. She's the owner of Monty's. Place has been in her family forever. It's one of the best sounding venues in Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
Probably close to the best sounding venue east of Toronto, I would think. And they've got all this, the light show is amazing and stuff. But she was, they were doing temperatures at the door. Everything was assigned seating, every table. We were allowed to have up to groups of 10, and they cut it off at 8 to make sure it's even more safe.
Yeah.
Every table was more than 6 feet apart. There were like traffic lanes on the directions you're allowed to go. Really, really, really good, and being very, very responsible about it.
Which is great. I felt safe there.
Which is it's you felt totally fine, and then things get shut down again, and I hear, oh, you know what? Best Buy can stay open, but Monty's has to shut down. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right? It's a bizarre double standard.
Yeah, it really is. It's interesting. I don't know if you guys are seeing the same issue, but here in the States, we're starting to open up depending on what state you're in, but and especially here in Texas, we're having issue. Like restaurants are having to close down right now because they can't find people to work.
Mm-hmm.
There is definitely some of that. It has so we had what was called the CERB, Canadian Emergency Response Benefit that existed. So that was like 4 months of $2,000 a month from the government that people could live on. When that was still available, or I should say, because theoretically it is still available now, but when people hadn't used up the maximum of that, the place was a ghost town and they had a hard time getting people to come back.
Yeah.
Now we're kind of back to the other side of things. There's a lot of people looking for work.
Yeah. Here, because I know like our stimulus package or whatever you want to call it, just recently got extended to go for another year.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And so now there's like, depending on what your job was, there are certain people that are making more claiming stimulus unemployment than they would going back working.
That's what I was about to get at. It certainly exposes a fundamental problem, which is that a lot of people are working and making less money than what the government says you should need to be able to make to live. Yeah. Right? So, I'm all for people need to go back to work, and I'm not someone who's pro, living off of the system, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if you're not making enough money, what else are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Especially when like this kind of like money that they're giving us was supposed to be kind of like survival money. Like this is exactly what you need. Yeah. You don't need any more.
This was the bare minimum.
Like, and then people were complaining because they're used to, some people are used to making more money and having more money to spend.
Yeah.
But then there's other people who are going, oh my gosh, this is more than my paycheck. I'm so excited. And they were able to, not worry about food or, like buy something that is kind of like,
oh my God,
something essential.
The teenagers buying cars and stuff last year was insane.
Speaking of teenagers, I have seen a nice little interesting uptick in things. There's a lot of like high school juniors and seniors that during while they're being schooled from home, they went out and got some of these part-time jobs that other people weren't taking. So like,
well, that's good.
Fast food restaurant, like specifically restaurants or whatever.
Yeah.
And now that schools are starting to open back up publicly and you can go to like in-person school, a lot of these juniors and seniors are deciding to drop out because they got more life experience working for the last 6 months to a year. I
don't necessarily blame them, if I'm being honest. I get it. You know, I'm a guy who, outside of the music stuff, you know, I didn't drop out of high school or anything, but I never went to university.
Yeah.
I was, brought up in a family business running a retail sports store. So by the time I was, the second I was done high school, I was full-time running 7 shops, right? Yeah. So my experience has all come from the real world.
Yeah.
And especially with again, it's a little different. I would say they should go finish their friggin' high school, but
at least get your high school.
Yeah, get your high school done. But the fact of the matter is, with the rate of how expensive tuition is, and how much more valuable it is, like actual real experience.
Yeah,
I don't blame people for not going to school and continuing.
Well, I know so many people with degrees that they aren't using or can't find work in, so they're working minimum wage after, and then having to pay back student loans at the same time.
Like my brother's got finishing off he's got 2 degrees and is finishing off a master's in physiotherapy. That's awesome, great, good for him. He's also $140,000 in debt, and he doesn't own a house or anything yet, right? And then you can take me, who I'm most of my life has been in management and then some sales and things like that. But for the most part, I've never had an issue getting a job anywhere. And like usually it's a reasonably good, like it's not minimum wage. I'm not doing entry level stuff, right? Yeah. And it's just purely because I lived in the business world. Yep. So
it's all about the experience, not the education.
And especially with these young kids, because I'm sure, especially with these like middle or high schoolers who are very quickly coming up on figure out what you're doing with the rest of your life, right?
Yep.
They're looking at the economic situation and what millennials have gone through trying to get their life together, et cetera, and they're probably thinking, look, the sooner I can get ahead and start putting money in the bank, the better.
Yep.
And it's true. So, I
wish I had thought about that.
I wish I had thought about
in
that
high
too.
school.
I could have.
When I had a job in high school, I was just shopping sprees. Like,
no, when I was in high school, it was, I was living with my dad. We were not, we were running this business. But for anyone out there who knows who runs their own business, it's a. You live and die by how well the business is doing. So, when we had economic downturns, we didn't have any money. Yeah. So I certainly there was the option for me to drop out.
Yeah.
Just do Sock Pro the whole time. But I don't think I ever took that really seriously. Like I would highly recommend finishing high school, not because I necessarily believe in specifically what you're being educated in, and I've talked with Rochelle about this lots, is that there's just so much in high school. Like the average person doesn't need to know calculus or chemistry or biology, that kind of stuff. But the one thing that high school does teach you that I think is useful is they teach you how to learn and retain knowledge.
Yep.
And information, right? Yep. Where the specific information that you're taking in, not helpful. For the most part, like they should be teaching you how to do your taxes and how mortgages work and how to.
I remember I was a sophomore in college before I finally found a class that it was literally, this was the name of the class, Everyday Math.
Nice.
Right. Perfect. Right. That's that is far more valuable than anything you would have learned in freaking high school.
A lot of times in high school, I was just, for math in particular, I was just memorizing formulas but not knowing when or why I would ever use them.
Yeah.
Turns out there are real life reasons to use them, but I just
they never tell you.
I just memorized formulas and blurted it out on tests and finished that.
But you are now a person who can actually go and read some information, take it in, and keep it.
Yeah.
And that to me is really the beneficial thing about high school. Is that while your brain is still kind of in that developmental phase, you train yourself or program it to be able to retain information. Because I can tell you one thing definitively, like until late middle school and high school, I didn't take in anything. I mean, I knew enough to keep going and stuff, but I don't even remember my teachers' names. Nothing, right?
I was the opposite. I was one of those kids that just had no problems until I got older.
So nerd. But so I think that kind of skill, so to speak, or programming is very beneficial. But beyond that, I think the education system in general, especially now with the internet, needs a wake-up call. Like, university as it exists right now doesn't make any sense.
No. Especially with how expensive it is.
Well, that too. Yeah. Well, that's a whole other set of issues. I mean, they're not in the business of educating people anymore, right? No. They make as much money if you fail as if you pass, right? And that's part of the fundamental problem. Or if you just barely pass, right? So,
in theory, they probably make more money if you fail,
right? Because you go back.
Yeah.
So they're in the business of turnover and they're really, when it comes down to it, they're like, and there was a big article about this in the New York Times or something, that like Yale is basically a glorified, it's a trust fund with a university on the side. And that's a great way to look at it, because it's what they are.
Yeah. Absolutely. But I didn't mean for this entire podcast this episode to get that political, so to speak. But, like, just with the times that we're in, it's like, it's inevitable anymore. Like, it's just going to happen. So yeah, it's
going to happen. And I think, you're talking about positives to come out of the pandemic. One thing that I can definitely point to is it's made everybody take a serious look at themselves. Or I'd like to think that, at least. It certainly has for me. And not just the pandemic, but the year that we just had, right? Because it wasn't just the pandemic. There was all these protesting and shootings. There was Trump's campaign. There was a lot of different stuff that was like very divisive. So it's made a lot of people it's forced a lot of people to take a hard look at, like, what do I believe in? What's important to me? And when it comes down to it, that's fundamentally what politics is, right? These topics matter to me. These topics don't. Oh, that person agrees with me on these topics. I'll vote for them. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I'm sorry. It's just so funny whenever we talk about because when we first started doing all this, our two rules were no religion, no politics.
Well, it's impossible, right?
And it's like now it's just like, nope. It's all. I mean, it's not all politics, but at some point in every episode we get drawn into something political. So it's always funny. But to kind of circle back to past crimes, that's out now. You have a music video for it as well.
We do. The
animated music.
Yeah, it's animated, and it's in the style of like so for anyone who's been following our book, the book's kind of post-apocalyptic, right? And one of the characters at one point in the book talks about he found all this kind of they look almost like cave paintings, but scratches on this wall that depicts the story. And this is the scratches on the wall. These are the drawings that some person made, prior to the bombs falling or whatever caused the end of the world. That tells this story. And then so along with that, the music kind of helps bring it all together.
Cool. Yeah. And how long after the song release did you release the music video, or is it all kind of?
We did it simultaneously.
And you're seeing more traffic from the music video, right?
It's a mix. I certainly, I mean, Facebook is video world.
Yeah.
Now they're trying really, really hard to become like a direct competitor with YouTube.
Yeah.
So certainly on Facebook, but our Spotify, it's done very well. It's up on, it's on every platform. It's on Amazon. It's on Pandora, all this kind of stuff. I was talking with the band about this about maybe a month and a half ago, that when you look at everything as a whole, it's really easy to think, oh no, okay, videos are it if you just look at Facebook. Or it's really easy to think that our fan base is XYZ if you only look at one platform. Yep. When you look at all of the platforms together, it starts to become clear that, well, first off, certain platforms are better for certain things. And then even more so, funny enough, geographically, which platforms are popular where. Like, for example, our, Facebook we have this huge population of Brazilians on there who love what we're doing all the time. But you look at Spotify is primarily the United States.
Yeah.
Instagram's almost all European, right?
Well, that's the thing is you have to diversify yourself because different platforms put you in front of different audiences.
Well, exactly. And that's been, that's the reason that we've kind of started
branching out.
Yeah, and doing things like TikTok and doing a gaming channel and just getting in front of as many people as we can. But the positive takeaway from all of that is that the positive thing is that things are positive. It's that we're doing well in all the demographics that matter for the kind of music that we make, and no specific avenue is really doing a lot better than the others. Our Instagram is very popular, our Twitter is popular, our Facebook is popular, our Spotify is popular, the TikTok is blowing up.
Yeah,
I never thought in a million friggin' years, but it is.
Well, my TikTok standard is not blowing up, but it just started.
For what I thought we were just going to post stuff and nothing was ever going to happen.
But we are getting something without trying.
The thing about TikTok is it's so, like, right now, everything is so organic on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's not commercialized. It's not like, hey, swipe up for this new thing. It's not as commercialized as Instagram is or as YouTube is or as Facebook is. So people are on it and just organically there to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because that's what Facebook used to be and what Twitter used to be and stuff. And I always, people talk to me like, oh no, TikTok will never be like that. Yeah, it will. They all will.
Maybe, yeah.
I think the idea, and it's a smart move by these companies, get everybody hooked on your platform, and then monetize it.
Yeah.
I don't really blame them for that. It sucks for the consumer.
Yeah. Because what they do, the way they do it is they get you hooked so that it's part of your everyday life, and just hope that once they start introducing ads, that the burn off is slow enough that they can just have a nice, good run with it. And if they're really lucky, there'll be very little burn off, and it'll just kind of be a thing.
And they do it really gradually. I mean, I remember, it's almost 6 or 7 years ago when Facebook, when it first started coming up that, hey, Facebook, our organic reach is starting to kind of roll off what's going on, right? Yeah. And then, fast forward to now, if we don't run an ad on a video, it gets, hundreds of views maybe. And if we run an ad for very little money, it gets hundreds of thousands.
Oh, wow. Right? Yeah.
So it's a smart move by the companies. And I really think that's the business plan of almost all these kind of social media companies. Yep. They will all start off organic and really genuine and great for the consumer.
Yep.
And then over time, it doesn't matter who you are, and you can have the best intentions in the world, right? But all you've got to do is see like a graph of the money that Facebook's made, and you're going to want to monetize your platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm kind of curious, how are you guys incorporating TikTok into your social media strategy?
Not sure. We just decided, I think it was just a couple of days ago we decided to try it.
Yeah.
See what happened.
Truth be told, you need to talk to Lance mostly about that. Lance is, again, he's our new bass player, and he's the youngest in the band, so he was like the spearheader for it.
Yeah.
And he's the one running it. right now there's like clips and bits and pieces of our recent music videos and stuff going up there. I think long term it'll become more of a, at least if I'm making any content for it, it's going to end up being like a silly outlet. I tried TikTok, 2 years ago?
I think, yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
And I had a blast, like, making my cat dance and stuff. Yeah. I got sick of consuming the content because I'm just not the demographic.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a 30-plus-year-old dude.
Yep, I feel you on that one.
And looking at 13, 14, 15-year-olds doesn't do it for me.
Well, you gotta be on it long enough that the algorithm is good for you.
No, and fair enough. I mean, Rochelle loves TikTok, so why don't you talk about it more? Because I don't know what the hell I'm going on.
I don't know. When I first went on, I thought like there's just random weird videos, but then what's cool about it, it goes by like what you like, what videos you're staying on longer, and then eventually it just like, for me, I'm on there for the humor. So then it finds stuff that hits my weird sense of humor.
Yeah.
As in, I sit there laughing at a video and watching it over and over, and I'll show it to someone else, and they just kind of go, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "It's hilarious," but it's because it's geared towards what I like.
Specifically what you're into.
Yeah. Cool. When I first got on When I first got on TikTok, I got looped into the like comedy realm, and there's this kid that would do like tell dirty jokes to his mom, and so like he would just put the camera on his mom, tell her the joke, and she'd be like, "Oh, that's disgusting," and then you'd hear the dad cracking up in the background.
Nice.
And so like I just sit there and I've watched like hours on end all these videos of people doing that exact same thing, and it's just like, okay, this is funny. And then now that I start like working in the music stuff, it's a completely different vibe. Like the algorithm finally caught up to what I really like.
Yeah.
Go there for. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think I probably didn't give it enough time.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think it's geared towards me. I'm sure personally I will never end up as a big TikTok user.
Yeah.
But it's going to be. I think it's going to be really great for the band because it's another opportunity for the people out there to get to know us.
Yeah.
Right. We're a very different band than a lot of people. Like we're first off, we're a sober band, which is few and far between in and of itself.
Well, for the most part.
Well, for the most part, yeah.
I mean, our gigs are sober. We don't.
Yeah.
Nobody drinks before a gig.
Well, the band aspect of it is sober, right? We're a bunch of nerds for the most part. Rochelle's kind of the exception to that. But she's.
Thank you. Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
I don't.
No, but she is more than she gives credit. She's like a diehard Harry Potter fan and like this kind of stuff. And a bunch of us are gamers and things. And so we're not just musicians. We're people. And I think that's something that kind of gets glossed over sometimes, especially by the media and stuff. With some of these bigger musicians, is that they think that their whole life revolves around. Well, it does revolve around music, but they think that their whole life is music.
Yeah.
Nobody can function like that.
And that's why on this podcast, one of my last questions usually is always, what do you do outside of music? Because there's every once in a while you get the funny, oh, there's something outside of music. Haha. Like that sort of tongue in cheek answer. But then once they kind of get past like, okay, I'm being funny right now. You've got musicians like, I'm a gamer. I collect baseball cards. I do this. I do that. I go outside. I work out, just like all these different hobbies. And it's like that's the core of the question is you're a human. What makes you a human? Like
exactly
that sort of thing.
Yep. Totally. So TikTok and the gaming channel, and I'm sure there's probably going to be more and more of this. At least my inclination is to head that way.
Yeah.
That just let people interact with us, and you want to be kind of be friends with us, then be friends with us. I could have 20,000 friends. I can have 30,000 friends. Facebook thinks I do already. Yeah. But the point is, especially for like the diehard fans, and we've got some out there. Like we've got some people who live and die by what the hell we're posting again.
Yeah.
It's a really great opportunity for them to like feel more connected directly with us, even if it's at the other end of it, like a text chat on a Twitch stream.
Yeah.
And so long term, I think eventually we're going to get a Patreon or something like that going as well.
Yeah.
Not necessarily specifically because we're desperate to monetize these people, although, money's good. And it's expensive to do what we're doing.
But it's another avenue to get content out.
Well, it's another avenue to get content out, and it's an opportunity for someone who wants to go the extra mile and support what we're doing to do that.
Yeah. I will give you one big piece of advice on all of promotion and social media. Something that I've seen work really well is promote through creation.
Yes.
So if you guys are practicing and you're tossing between, should I hit this note or this note at this point? Whip out your phone, go live on Instagram or whatever, and just be like, hey, do you like this better or this, And I've just seen so many people do really well with that because it engages your fan base. It makes them feel like they're a part of the process. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, no, and we've started doing some things like that already. We've got a vlog going now on YouTube where people get to see a whole bunch of the behind the scenes stuff.
Nice.
And here and there, there's some music in it, but mostly it's the banter in between songs and us, really? Yelling at each other, saying, "Hey, do it like this, do it like that." And then we get all this feedback, and we can use that to exactly what you said to inform what direction we go with stuff. Because that's the other thing too is we're not, I'm not gonna pretend we're geniuses or something. I'd like to think that we're pretty good songwriters.
Yeah.
But more heads is good to an extent.
Yeah.
Especially people who are the listeners. Yeah. What do they want? Well, I want to give them what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. But I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. So where's the what are your socials? Where are the best places for people to check you out and everything you guys got going on?
Yeah, the core spot, DaliVanGoghmusic.com. You can also put in DaliVanGough.com, and that'll redirect you there. But the website's DaliVanGoghmusic.com. That's kind of the hub.
Yep.
For everything.
Got everything on there, but there's also Facebook.com/DaliVanGough.
Yep.
YouTube. We are on YouTube.
Yep. YouTube.com/C/DaliVanGough because YouTube needs to be different.
Yeah.
We're on Spotify.
Yep. TikTok.
Now we're on Twitch, so brand new. You can search at Dali Van Gogh and start following us there.
And we've got 2 Twitch channels on the go. We have Dali Van Gogh, which is going to be music stuff mostly. Yeah. And then we have Dali Van Gaming, which is the gaming channel.
Nice.
Instagram, both Instagram and TikTok are at Dali Van Gogh Official.
Yeah.
And then Twitter is at Dali Van Gogh. We're on everything. Like if you Google Dali Van Gogh, you will find us.
Yeah.
Or go to the website, which is,
or better yet,
said, is a hub, and find the link.
Right at the top, there's all of our social links. So.
That's why I've got so many different social platforms. It's like I had to get a link tree and just like, here, go to this link tree. And now it's even a drop down menu in our on our website, and it's just like it makes life so much easier.
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, but I want to thank you guys so much for jumping back on. I really, really appreciate it. I was really getting nervous there for a little bit that we were going to have to, that we weren't going to get you on to promote this single, but we finally made it work. And then you guys ended up going into lockdown anyways.
Again, I'll let you know once we have some more stuff coming out. I mean, we're working on it. We have a song recorded. Bits of it need to get re-recorded, but we have some plans. So hopefully you'll see some music from us in the next
Do you guys have the ability to record remotely, or is everything kind of set up in your...
So I've got the recording studio here, right? Like we're sitting in the office here. Our bass player has like at least some sort of a rig. I've never actually seen it, but he's done remote bass recording.
Yeah.
John's just across the street, so that's not an issue. The big problem is the drums.
Yeah.
Johnny's got to get out here for the drums.
But what's great is we don't have to worry about renting studio space or anything because we have that here. So once we're all able to get together again, we can just bang out some recordings.
And truth be told, theoretically, I think we could get together now. Now, nobody's too hot to do that with the case numbers where they are. Especially because, Johnny's wife-to-be is a nurse.
Yeah.
So, they're exposed to a whole plethora of things.
Oh, yeah.
We are. So it's better, for everybody, including the band, to keep each other separate for now. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be back together. We'll get, finishing touches on this next single that we're going to be eventually, the producer is going to be Eric Ratz, the legendary producer up here in Canada. He did like Monster Trucks Records and Ian Thornley and Big Wreck and Billy Talent and all kinds. His resume is insane. Rush.
Nice.
Like, so that's fantastic. So we're going to be doing a single with him. We've also got another self-produced one that will come out, probably sooner than the Eric Ratz one. Yeah. So there's stuff coming. So just kind of stay tuned. Keep an eye on these like gaming channels and stuff, because we'll be talking about it. We'll give you a better idea of when things are coming out and how things are going for us up here. But we promise you we're not going away.
Yeah. That's always good to hear, because this pandemic has just killed off so many bands. It's ridiculous.
Been rough on a lot of people. Yeah. Bands, businesses, and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But once again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will catch you guys later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. We're good.
Hey, awesome. That was great.